Well, welcome, church family, to your Thursday update. And we're back in the sanctuary again, and the reason for this is because I have great news. On May 24th, we will be able to resume services on site. It won't be the same as it was before we took, before March, but we will be able to meet again. And there's a few things that we're going to let you know as they develop and as we get ready for this. And I'm going to tell you more at the end of this communication, more about that. But for now, I want to take some time to think about what is the church? What does it mean to be the church? Well, there's two metaphors or two phrasings that talks about the church. One is the body of Christ, and the other is the assembly or the gathering, or the church, as the New Testament calls it. So I want to start off talking a little bit about the body of Christ, because in this time, we haven't ceased to be the body of Christ. As it says in 1 Corinthians chapter 12, verse 24 to 26, it says this: "Instead, God has put the body together, giving great honor to the less honorable, so that there would be no division in the body, but that the members would have the same concern for each other. So if one member suffers, all the members suffer with it. And if one member is honored, all the members rejoice with it." And so there's a sense of we are the body of Christ. That's the one another's, our commitment to care for each other, to love each other, to provide for one another. And in that sense, we never ceased being the church during this last season. But there's another part of church, which is the gathering. Now, we did, in a sense, gather, whether it be online, on Zoom, in different capacities. But it's not the same as being physically present with each other. The word church that we see in the scriptures means gathering, or to be gathered. It also means to be called out, or called out for a mission or for purpose. In the first century, in the secular setting, the idea of church, or ecclesia, was a gathering of competent people for a purpose, like a vote or something like that, to discuss civil matters. But the idea of church in the New Testament is actually derived from the Old Testament concept of synagogue. And that is more tied to a large group of people gathered for a common purpose. In fact, you see this happening in the book of Numbers. You see that Israel gathered together. It says this in Numbers chapter 14, verse 5. "Then Moses and Aaron fell face down in front of the whole assembly," the whole gathering of God's people, of the Israelite community. "Joshua son of Nun and Caleb son of Jephunneh, who were among those who scattered the land, tore their clothes and said to the entire Israelite community, 'The land we passed through and explored is an extremely good land. If the Lord is pleased with us, he will bring us into this land, a land with milk and honey, and give it to us. Only do not rebel against the Lord, and do not be afraid of the people of the land, for we will devour them. Their protection has been removed from them, and the Lord is with us. Do not be afraid of them.'" And so this was an assembly, or a gathering of people, to talk about God's promises and what God was going to do for them. And that idea of synagogue or gathering goes throughout the whole Old Testament and then comes into the church. And so when we see in Acts chapter 5, we do see this. The church is gathered. It says, "So the churches, the gathered, the assemblies, were strengthened in the faith and grew daily in numbers." And so there is a sense where we can't do church without gathering. Yes, it is true that we are all individual members of the church. We are part of the body of Christ. At the same time, when we talk about church, it requires too that we gather and we assemble. And I'm so excited that we get to gather again starting on May 24th. And so I want to go over a little bit of the things that will be different. As you can see right behind me, there is large gaps between the chairs. We have 130 chairs set up here, and we will not be able to exceed more than 50 on Sunday, but we have them set apart so that we can have multiple services for our church family, so we can each come with a family and be together. We will have a service. The details about the services will begin. We haven't decided exactly on the timing, but there'll be a service early in the morning, like 9 or 9:15, and then we'll have a regular 10:30 or 10:45 service in the afternoon. On your Saturday email, there will be a sign-up. We need you to sign up to come to a particular service. And so on our email on Saturday, we'll be communicating to you how you can sign up for the following week's service. And we'll be doing that. We'll be working through that over the next little while. Also, the government has recommended that we don't, actually forbidden us to to sing as a congregation. And so we're trying to work through the details of how we're going to accomplish a worship service when we are gathered here in this room. We are able to have, like we have in the past weeks, way to sing a song in front of the church, but for all of us to sing together, we're trying to work through what the government requirements are on that. And so we're working on how that will look. They've also suggested or allowed us to have what's called a cohort family. And so when you come here, you are able to sit with one other family that you don't live with. And so we can have two families sitting together in a row of chairs, such as the one right behind me. So there's a few other things that you need to know that we will let you know on Saturdays and the weeks to come as to how this will look. And we've installed motion sensors in the bathroom so you don't have to touch any light switches. We will only be allowing 2 people in the bathroom at the same time, and all these other things that we need to take care of. We also need to consider how those who are in the high-risk categories, how we're going to deal with that and all those kinds of things. And so all that is coming. We'll be updating you next Saturday and next Tuesday and next Thursday about how things are going. But I'm so excited to be able to gather and see you again on the 24th of May. So be looking forward to sign up for that. And also fill out the surveys if you haven't yet. There's a survey that Kobe sent in the other emails. You can do that. Fill it out so we're aware of how you're feeling about this and what you might be looking for when you walk through the doors. And so, again, I'm excited to be able to gather together again, and we know that things will change over the next coming months. For now, we're going to offer 2 services. But if you sign up and there's more demand than that, then we'll add another service as well. And so we're just, again, be excited to see you guys soon. And so, as always, I love you, and I'm praying for you, and God be with you till we meet again.